Hello and welcome. My name is Bart from FHIR and I am a product manager here for data modeling. And I'm together here with Rob, who is our lead developer on Forge. And together we're going to show you how Forge can help you to upgrade between FHIR R4 and R4B. So Rob, we're looking here at the FHIR R4B specification. Can you take us through what is new?
Yes, thank you, Bart. Actually, on the first line, there is a link about explanation about R4B, which briefly explains what R4B is about and what the changes are in reference to R4.
Okay.
So this is a good starting point to see what's actually changed in regards to R4.
Yeah. So we have an overview here, changes between R4 and R4B. And this is the kind of rough high-level overview. So the main changes here are in medication definition and in clinical reasoning. So it's not necessary for everyone to upgrade from R4 to R4B. So we're going to show you today how you can check what the impact of R4B is in your specification and whether it would make sense for you to upgrade. So what we're going to use for that here is Forge. And Forge, you can find Forge from the downloads page in Simplifier. And there's a new version here for R4B that you can use. And we're going to demonstrate this today with a project that's from the Norwegian Medicines Agency, and it's called Safest. And this project has some medicational definition resources, so it's a nice demonstration for how the upgrade wizard works. So I have Forge for R4B already open here. And first we're going to open that Safest project. So I have it here. And the first thing we see here is that Forge, when opening this R4 project in R4B Forge, it gives us some information. Rob, can you take us through what we see here?
Yes, so the first thing you notice at the bottom of the screen is a message about dependencies. So this is an R4 project, and that means, because we're opening it in R4B version of Forge, that Forge cannot find those dependencies.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then when we filter this project down on structure definition specifically, so profiles, I think we see a few different icons here also on the individual resources. Can you take us through those?
Yes, so the first thing you notice are a couple of grayed out resources. Those pertain to resources that have been deprecated in R4B or resource types. So that's medicinal product packaged and medicinal product manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
And the other ones have an icon with a little cog there, and that means that you can open the R4 resource in R4B. And when you do that, the resource that you're opening will be converted to R4B.
Great. So let's look how that works for an individual resource. For example, this marketing status structure definition here. So when we open that, we see that Forge detects that it's a FHIR R4 resource, and we can upgrade it to R4B. So let's do that here. And then we see, for example, here on the properties tab, that the FHIR version has been updated to R4 3.0, which is R4B. So this is how you can take an individual resource and upgrade it to R4B. But let's take us through the wizard, who will upgrade all of our resources here at once. So for the wizard, we go to the project level here, and we go to the R4B upgrade wizard. I think before we go there, it's important to see what we have these different resources here, where some don't exist anymore and some might have changed. And an example here is, for example, the medicinal product structure definition, where we also see that the name that they've chosen for that is medicinal product safest. So we're going to come back to that later. So let's run the upgrade wizard. Rob, what do we see here for the different categories?
Yeah, so the different categories are related to the actual changes between R4 and R4B. Forge will open each resource that you have in your project and then check what the changes are. So status ignored means that it's either a resource that cannot be converted, or it's already R4B, or it's an STU3 file, or a markdown, or something that cannot be upgraded to R4B.
Yeah.
Unchanged simply means that those kind of resource types did not change in R4B, like patient.
Yeah.
We have some resource types that have been deprecated. So in our case, we have 4 of them. And then if you go to the bottom, you have more and more resource types that have more changes when you go to the bottom. So improved, it has that pertains to resource types that only have small changes, mostly additions. Updated resource types is like the evidence-based resource types. And then the renamed category is where the most of the changes have occurred.
Okay, so this is really where the meat of the changes are between R4 and R4B and the impact on your project.
Correct.
So let's go to the next step and see. So we see some resources have been updated or renamed here. And then also when we go to the next step here, we see that Forge kind of recommends that this project would upgrade to R4B, since there are some significant improvements to the resources that it's using. There are some resources that have been renamed, and there are some resources that have been deprecated. So it's better to take those changes right now and upgrade to R4B. And we also have some links here to the detailed explanations of what actually has changed in R4B. So we see those 4 resource types here that are impacting our project. And when we go to next, we have a few more options in our wizard to help us through this transition. Can you take us through those options, Rob?
Yes, so the first option is that you can let Forge open your upgraded resource, and then you will get any corrections and fixes on your resource that Forge normally makes when you open a resource.
Okay, so on top of just
you can
R4B
either
corrections.
choose to do that or not. The second one simply means that after upgrading, that the new R4B project will be opened in Forge.
Okay.
And the next 3 options have to do with resource types that have been renamed. So there you have the option to update those metadata element properties when you have used the original resource type name in your resource. So if you've used, was it medicinal product?
Yeah.
You in your resource, it will be renamed to the new name medicinal product definition.
Great. Okay, so let's run the wizard. Let's go next here. And now we see it's taking us through all the changes that it's applying to the project. We get the full log file here that's being stored in your new project folder with all the changes that have been made, from small changes where there's only updates to the FHIR version in the resource, to complete changes where there's many elements that have been deleted or added or removed. So this is really where you can check to be still in control of your entire specification and make sure everything is still there. And then we also see, when we've closed the wizard here, that it's opened the new project. It's created a new folder for that on our computer. And when we filter down to structure definition specifically here again, we see, for example, that the marketing status profile is still here, but also here the medicinal products resources, which used to be medicinal product, but now there are structure definitions on medicinal product definition. And we see that it is also, Forge has also updated the name, which used to be medicinal product safest, which is now updated to medicinal product definition safest. Great. So that's a quick walkthrough of how the FHIR R4 to R4B upgrade wizard works in Forge. And we hope that it will be very useful for you to take advantage of the new FHIR specification. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Bart.